Hey everybody, welcome back to History Student Reacts. Today we'll be watching lesser-known Christmas folklore characters by Sam O'Nella. Now this is the last in a series of Christmas-themed reactions that I've been doing this year, so Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you watching. Now we're going to do another Sam O'Nella video today. He always brings the goofs and gaffs, and with the title of this video, I'm sure this will be a particularly strange and entertaining one. Now, before we get into this video, I'd appreciate it if you guys would leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and check out my Patreon, which is linked down below. Now, with all of that out of the way, let's jump right into this reaction.
This video is sponsored by Skillshare.
Sam O'Nella Academy. I'm ready to learn.
Hey kids, hope you had yourself a merry little whatever. I know I did. What do you like best about the holiday experience? My personal favorite part is where we systemically brainwash children into thinking they're supernatural beings who judge their every move and then invade their house at night. Now, everyone knows Santa.
Oh, wow.
Good old Saint Nick.
That's quite the interpretation of old Santa Claus.
Old Father Christmas, old Christopher Kringle.
That's the Santa you see at the mall.
Old Elpheus Prime, Slayer of Elk and Bringer of Xboxes. And you've probably heard of some other characters somewhere too. Guys like Krampus, Belsnickel, Charlie Brown, Xi Jinping. Well, today I want...
Good one. I think Krampus might be the best known of these sort of strange alternative Christmas folklore characters who are a little nefarious, to be honest.
I'm going to show you guys some more obscure Yuletide beings from different cultures all across the globe, but mostly Europe. Now, this first creature's name comes from the Welsh. As a matter of moral principle,
you know it's Welsh because there's a L, Y, W all next to each other, right? That is a giveaway that this is from Wales.
I personally don't formally recognize the Welsh language. Maybe someday they'll figure out how W's and Y's work, then it'll be a different story, but for the time being, you'll have to excuse me for not condoning bullshit like this. So the thing allegedly called Marilwyd isn't a true mythical creature.
Dude, with Welsh, and this is true for a lot of foreign languages, you know, but you look at anything in Welsh, and I could not possibly tell you how it's supposed to be pronounced. Right? It's really those W's and Y's that cause a lot of issues, at least for, you know, how I understand and read things.
Per se, but more so a tradition carried out for at least the past few centuries in South Wales. No, I mean Old South Wales. This is how it works. Every holiday season, the village rapscallion will take a horse's skull and affix it to the end of a pole. Kind of like one of these things, except, you know, awful.
So a sort of medieval-style hobby horse?
The skull is typically decorated in some way, and sometimes they put in a lever so you can make the mouth move on its own. Then a white sheet is draped over the pole and its holder, thus giving the illusion that famine himself has come to destroy all your figgy pudding. From here, one would think that the nightly festivities would include welshing your trousers and repenting for a lifetime of naughtiness.
I will say, I'm pretty sure I've seen stuff like this from other cultures, where you take some sort of animal skull and build a costume around it, sometimes for festive reasons, sometimes to depict some sort of spirit. Oftentimes seems a little spooky to me, but I don't believe this general idea is specific to Wales.
But no, it gets better. You know that whole mouth moving thing? Turns out that's not just for taking wild snaps at the faces of innocent children. The Marilwyd and its party of caretakers will go around to random houses and sing a song about wanting to be let inside. The inhabitants are then expected to sing back with excuses as to why they don't want this abomination in their home. All in rhyme, of course. This goes back and forth until either the Marilwyd gives up or the party's invited in, at which point they get to raid your pantry and drink all your beer. So
this seems like it's key to a lot of old traditions, whether Christmas, you know, any sort of holiday really, is that people go carousing through the streets, oftentimes drunk, trying to get let into people's homes, sometimes peacefully, in some traditions a little more violently, and ideally, for them, they get let in, given drink and food, and go on their merry way.
So, if you ever find yourself rap battling a horse skull in South Wales, don't panic. It's normal, I guess. Next we have Frau Perchta, a witch-like being said to visit during the holidays in the Alpine regions of Germany and Austria. Depictions of Perchta can range anywhere between beautiful woman and whatever the hell this is,
Oh,
but
God.
usually they fall somewhere in between. She's also sometimes shown with this big, weird, floppy goose foot. That's because she's apparently real into spinning. Now,
I will say we're getting into German holiday tradition. That's how you know it is guaranteed to be weird.
the 2-foot kind, though, the 1-foot kind.
Right.
It's said that this delightful spinster pays a visit to all the little Wiener Schnitzels on the 12th night of Christmas. If you were well-behaved and hard-working this year, she might leave you a small silver coin in your shoe. How kind. But if you've been an inattentive young lady and didn't spin all your flax that year, Perchta will trample all your half-woven fibers as punishment. And you'll say, weird flax, but okay. Fucking cut that out, Jesus. Then there's the stuff Perchta considers especially naughty, which can vary depending on who you ask. If you left your house a mess, or you didn't leave out the traditional bowl of porridge, or maybe you didn't eat your ceremonial fish and gruel on...
So once again, we've been doing some of these Christmas videos, we've seen some different holiday traditions. One of the sort of common themes is you have some sort of being or creature, in some cases, that comes around, usually at night, not to make it more frightening, and depending on how you've behaved, will leave either some sort of gift or reward or a punishment for bad behavior. And oftentimes, another common theme seems to be that you leave out food for this visiting being or creature. Sometimes a bowl of porridge, sometimes, cookies for old Saint Nick, depends on, what culture you're talking about.
On feast day, that's when you've been a real goober. As recompense, she'll rip out your fucking intestines through your abdominal wall and then stuff your empty body cavity with pebbles and straw until you're just as plump as when she started. So, you win some, you lose some.
Okay.
Nobody knows what she does with your fresh...
Just a nice Christmas tale for the children. I mean, I will say, seems like a lot of these old Christmas stories and folklore, especially, as far as I can tell, in Germany and German-speaking countries, are about frightening the children, perhaps into behaving better. I think that's part of it. Maybe just frightening them for the sake of frightening them.
Freshly harvested innards after she leaves. But being that she lives in the mountains and has an obsession with thread making, I think we can all infer the obvious truth.
And I think this is true for a lot of folklore beyond just holiday folklore. We have the story of the Brothers Grimm going throughout the German-speaking lands, collecting all these fairy tales, and they sort of formed the canon of a lot of our modern Western fairy tales, I guess you could call it, or just Disney movies, to put it another way. But, I think something a lot of us know, even if you haven't read the original fairy tales, is that a lot of these original fairy tales were a lot more brutal than the sort of modern-day depictions we have now, right? They've been, once again, Disneyified, sort of made clean. A lot of the violence has been taken out. But a lot of these old stories and folklore, whether associated with Christmas or not, were actually quite violent, brutal, definitely designed to teach a lesson.
Of course, no discussion of folklore of any kind can truly be complete without taking a look at Iceland. Between the centuries of isolation and the volcanic fumes constantly spilling out over the countryside, it's no wonder that they're one of the world's biggest exporters of whack-ass mythology. Seriously, according to one 1998 survey, over 54% of Icelandic citizens said they believed in elves. Let me repeat that just so we're all clear. In 1998, the majority of the population of Iceland said they believed in elves.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's also a pretty big part of sort of Celtic culture. Ireland, mainly Ireland at this point, but also, Wales, Scotland, some other places. This sort of idea, and like I said, you still see some of these ideas remaining in Ireland today. Some of this folklore about invisible elves or sort of little magical creatures who go around, perhaps playing mischievous tricks, doing all these types of things. The land of fae, fairy, that sort of thing. That's a lot of classic folklore in these Celtic cultures. So we're seeing some similarities here with Iceland.
and a very large portion probably still does today. As such, the cast of characters said to visit during the holiday season over there is naturally quite diverse. The main lineup consists of the family pictured here. This is the leader of the bunch, a troll, goblin, ogreish type lady named Grilla. Grilla just fucking eats kids.
Oh.
That's it. She's said to prefer the naughty ones, but as long as it's small and made out of kid, she's game.
I like that she prefers the naughty ones, which means, yeah, okay, if they're naughty, those are the ones I want, but I'll eat any sort of kid. If they're good, fine, I'll take it. She's not too discerning.
You got her husband, Le Palu, who lives with her in her cave, generally considered to be equally ogreish. When the holidays roll around, if there's no soot in your fireplace, he'll reward you with a pickled herring. But if it's dirty, he'll scoop up the ash and dump it in your bed. Ooh. Nah, just messing with you. None of that's true. He also just eats children. The couple also has a giant cat called,
They've really just simplified the folklore. None of this gift-giving and coal and all that sort of stuff. They're just eating kids.
this. The cat's main concern
Wait, what?
is it eats children. The couple also has a giant cat called, this.
Yeah, once again, I couldn't possibly tell you how to pronounce that. Yola Kotorin? I don't know. I have no idea.
The cat's main concern is whether or not a person received new clothes for Christmas. Pretty hypocritical considering it walks around naked all the time, but whatever. Anyway, if you got new clothes, then good for you. You got new clothes.
Nice.
On the other hand, if you didn't get any, well, can you guess what he does? You want to take a
No,
wild
not
stab?
again.
Yeah, that's exactly right. He fucking eats you. Children, adults, doesn't matter. He'll even vor your dog. He doesn't care. Finally, you got...
Wow, they're really into having mythical creatures eat children. And also, I like that it's dependent on whether you received clothes or not for Christmas. Like, that's not up to me. How is it my fault if I didn't receive any clothes? And you're gonna eat me? Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a lot of justice in these Icelandic Christmas folklore tales.
got the best of the bunch, the 13 Yule lads, each of which visits on a different day leading up to Christmas. They're kind of like the 7 dwarves, but whereas those guys are jolly and helpful and stupid shit like that, the only real goal of the Yule lads is to harass and inconvenience people as much as possible, and each one has a unique way that they go about doing that. I'm going to go through all 13. Now, please remember, I am making none of this up. I'm not even going to try to say the Icelandic names, so I'll just give you guys the English translations, which are very apt, by the way. First, you got Sheepcoat Clod, who goes around harassing sheep, but he's easy to catch on account of his peg legs. Then there's Gully Gulk, who hides in gullies to...
Gully Gawk? That name, first of all. Second of all, once again, this does align with some of that Celtic folklore and folklore, I think, from a lot of countries, of little creatures who go around getting up to certain kinds of mischief, sometimes less harmful, sometimes more harmful.
Steal milk from your cows. There's Stubby, he's real short. He eats the leftover crust out of pie pans. This one's called Spoon Licker. He licks spoons. He's also incredibly thin on account of malnutrition for some reason.
These are great.
There's Pot Scraper, he scrapes pots. And Bowl Licker, who's like Spoon Licker. The key difference here being that he licks bowls.
I love that we've got spoon liquor and bowl liquor. You need 2 different guys for licking different utensils.
You got Door Slammer, who slams doors in the middle of the night. And then Skyr Gobbler, who gobbles up all your skyr, which is like a Nordic yogurt type thing. Whoa, who's that up in the rafters? It's Sausage Swiper, of course. Here to swipe your sausages. And who's that in the windows? You bet your ass it's window people.
Oh, no! Dude, this guy's straight up nefarious. Do not let this guy near your home.
Peep. And who could forget our favorite, Doorway Sniffer, who sniffs your doorway with his giant freakish nose to seek out bread. There's Meat Hook, he steals your meat with a hook. And finally, Candle Stealer, who fucking, you get the picture.
Yeah.
So, if you know some...
Wow, what a bunch of little creatures. That's quite the Christmas folklore. I like that.
Kids who just won't behave, maybe it's time to take a page out of Iceland's book come next holiday season. Now remember, your friend dressed up as Grilla doesn't have to actually eat the kids. Just bite them a couple times, that'll be enough. Anyway, with New Year's right around the corner, the time comes to make our New Year's resolutions. While you may spend New Year's Eve getting hella turned, why not spend New Year's Day getting hella learned?
Whoa.
You can do just that with Skillshare.org. Skillshare is an online
Alright. You can check out Salmonella's video. It's linked down below. This is quite an old video, so I don't know if that sponsor link still works, but like I said, I've got his video link, so you can go give him a like, subscribe, support him, right, for making these videos. Obviously, Salmonella came back sort of semi-recently. We haven't gotten a video for him in a couple of months, but it was nice to see him come back after years of not being here. So he's still, somewhat active. So yeah, that was a good video. Not necessarily a sort of history-focused video, but a Christmas-themed one. That was particularly entertaining. I enjoyed seeing all the different folklore characters. So yeah, another great one from Salmonella. If you guys enjoyed this one, I'd appreciate it if you'd leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Once again, check out my Patreon, which is linked down below. So, as I said earlier, hey, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and a Happy New Year to everyone watching. I hope to see you guys again next time. See ya.